Hey everybody, good morning. It's July 9th, it's Tuesday. We're on session 4 of our live at the Shovel Creek Advanced Base Camp here at Moose Mountain Ski Area. You're seeing our operations map behind us. We have a lot of good to cover, a little bit of bad, and a tiny bit of ugly. So let's get right into the good. This is our break it down session. So the good stuff yesterday. We did bring fire all the way through the Martin neighborhood successfully. We talked to the operations chiefs this morning. That went really well. The hot shots went back in there and checked out all the structures. Some fire came pretty close to structures with the humidity bubble around it, some a little farther away, but we're past that now. We're getting more depth, so that's a really nice thing. So rest assured in there, Martin subdivision, the homeowners there, that went well. We also got to that corner last night and put up the video on YouTube of both the fire effects coming off that the corner at what we call DP 27, which is the Perfect Perch subdivision, and the firefighters were able to put a nice strip of fire in here last night under really favorable conditions. And so we're about halfway down the dozer line, which does put this dozer line and this Murphy Creek line into now being a primary for us. For those of you living in McLeod, that means this is now the alternate line, the line originally prepped. So that hopefully answers your questions about where we think the fire is going to end up being in the outer perimeter. The afternoon is going to be very interesting with the weather. We did put the highlights up from the morning briefing. Again, please follow our YouTube channel because that's where we're giving you the most transparent insight into our camp, into our fire behavior analysts, our weather people, our leaders' intent. We even put up a nice safety message. Tim Dabney from the state of Alaska did a piece this morning for the firefighters reminding them to take 5 at 4. In the lower 48, you're supposed to take 5 at 2. And what he meant by that is that at 2 p.m. or at a certain point each day in Alaska, it's 4 because of our solar sun and it being different. There's a time when the tragedy fires happen, and it's after 2 and it's in the afternoon. And so we want to make sure the firefighters today and every day, because public and firefighter safety is first, are really keeping that awareness. Take a tactical pause at 4 p.m. today for everybody on the line, all those hotshot crews and hand crews and folks operating the pumps and supporting them with the aviation, and reassess the fire behavior. We still have an active fire out here in the interior that has not woken up and moved that much lately. Some of that smoke is really helping us. That's part of the bad and the ugly. We all don't love the smoke. It's actually been really tough on all of you. We know your eyes, your throat, it's hard to sleep. You know that it's having a health impact on you. We know it's having a health impact on our firefighters. We've been asking them to try to get some fresh air because their carbon monoxide levels actually really do go up. A lot of us back in 2011 wore the monitors under a University of Montana performance human lab test for firefighters, and our levels go way up when we're right by the fire line. Yours do too, so get that fresh air. That was part of the ugly. Another little challenge yesterday we want to make you aware of is that these fuels here we told you were part of a pooch. This is the part of the finger that did not burn in the 2009 hard luck. That did get active yesterday, and we have had a little bit of activity on the Chattanooga River West area. Some of the locals there have seen that. We want to acknowledge that. We know that. Just remember, all along we've had a branch director, division supervisor, and crews in here the whole time. They've been there for weeks. They've been prepping the structures. I was reminded by Jacob Welsh, one of our PIOs, who used to be the smoke jumper, that they have all the water that they need down there. They've got all the pumps and water because that river is going to provide endlessly water for them. They've been hitting that. They sent a couple crews up and a dozer down, and they're hoping to get line around all that today. Again, fire scars help you. They're a natural feature unless it's really, really hot and the indices are really, really high, and then those herbaceous 10-year-old plants might be available to consume, and especially in their understory. So we do have eyes on all that. That's one of our challenges. The mop up in here is going very well. That's part of the good. And again, for you homeowners in the Martin neighborhood, we just want to let you know that they're through your neighborhood. They moved on. And so that means all that water that was dedicated to pre-treating your homes is now mopping up around the homes. And that water show continues. The water, we wanted to let you know, at least in the last few days, is all coming from Goldstream. So right below our ground support staging area is an area where the trucks go in and they fill up. So that's from the Goldstream. We know we had some homeowners asking what's being sprayed around my home, my garden, my area. So that's Goldstream water for now. Now, last week there were multiple water sources. I'm not exactly sure right now where they all are, but I'm trying to track them down. But at least in the last 48 hours or so, it's been Goldstream. I've got the honor of introducing J. Michael Johnson. He's actually right behind the camera right now. He's going to walk up here in just 1 second when he gets his framing right. And then Eric, our new PIO, is going to jump in and man the camera. J. Michael Johnson is the man with the camera. And what I mean by that is when you've been watching AK Fire Info and you've seen all those great shots of the firefighters mopping up and the smoke and all the work, not all of them, but quite a lot of them are attributed to J. Michael. How do you do that? And I know it's part of your day job because you're National Park Service, but tell us what you do.
So, you know, it's important for me to get out there and get some footage and get some photos so that I can share with everybody out in the community what's going on. The firefighters that are working their line, their job is to work and do fire, whether it's mop up or putting in hose or digging line, and they're not able to take out the time to get their phones out and start snapping photos. Their dedicated and function is to work on that fire. So what I'm able to do is provide a service by coming out, getting photos that I can then share with the community and let you really know what's happening out on the fire line. And of course, we've had great advances in technology the last couple of years. YouTube, we're able to get some video footage up on YouTube and other platforms and NCWeb so that we can share that information with everybody instead of just posting it on a board. We'll still do that, you know, occasionally have photos, but it's really important for me to be able to tell that story. I'm a photographer, not so much a videographer, so if I can get a good, compelling photo that tells the story and lets everyone know what's happening by a single image, that's what I shoot for.
And we want to let you know where those are. So again, please follow all of our different campaigns. We have the NCWeb, which is the government website. The link is in the post. We have the AK Fire Info, where we'll use basically one of J. Michael's photos every single day, just about as the feature image because they're so good. We also have that then propagates out to the Alaska DNR Facebook page and the BLM Alaska Fire Service page. And then of course we also have the bulletin boards around town. We don't put the photos up so much there. Again, we're trying to put other information there, tactical information, evacuation level information, that smoke reports, those type of things. But if you have a chance and you're up there and you haven't had service or you're sort of in that off-grid area, when you get to town next, we want neighbors to help neighbors. Check out a lot of Michael's photos. It really gives you a good idea, especially, you know, for me when I see you come in at night and you bring me the thumb drive and I throw it in and I look at that smoke impact on mop-up, and we've been doing so much burning, and then the holders come in right behind them. We have hundreds and hundreds of holders in here. And so the hot shots have the drip torches. Right. That's what Jacob showed us the other day. But then all those holders, they are married to that fire. Once the hot shots put the fire on the landscape, and we got great video up this morning from our burn boss and operations chief, Reggie Bray. Please take a look at that beautiful fire effects pulling in from the state of Alaska, Department of Natural Resources, Division of Forestry funded fire break. Then J. Michael will come in and shoot the shot of how smoky that can be and what hard work that is.
Jacob talked about that the other day. He was talking about eating smoke because it was so thick. And one of the images I did capture was several folks doing holding, looking across the fire line, not looking at the fire that's going on behind them, but looking on the opposite side, making sure that there were no spots going across the line, and they were just sitting there eating that smoke for hours on end.
So let's break that down. It's always a little risky for us to put up a photo of fire and a bunch of folks standing around because the old perspective was we're worried that you'll think that people are just standing around, right? And that's not what's going on. Again, as J. Michael says, when they're burning off the line, the job of the holder is actually to have their back to the flame, looking into the green and seeing if they can visually see any sparks going into the green. Their job is to just take it from the back and stand there for the rest of the shift, sometimes 10, 12, 14 hours while they're monitoring the green. And so there's not just a lot of standing around going on. This is a pace. This is not a marathon. It takes all these folks to be able to keep hydrated, to take care of the little issues that they're having because there's sore backs out there, there's overuse issues, there's blisters, cuts, some bronchitis potentially developing, some smoke impacts, and they have to keep that focus because holding that line, we love to get behind that statement, holding that line, but that J. Michael's captured that.
And I threw up some photos last night of some folks doing some mop up here by the dome staging, using a hose, just going out and making sure any hot spots are out there on the line. So, you know, it's like you mentioned before, it's a long process in order to make sure that this line is secure before we move it from the red edge to the black edge.
Yeah, and any idea in your experience, you've been doing this for years, you came up for the 2015 fires, you were out in Manly Hot Springs, you've come up for other fires.
Yeah.
How long do you think it'll take for this to get really fully mopped up?
You know, from my operational background and looking at what's happened here, I would expect it to be at least a couple days before we can confidently say that this edge is going to be contained. Of course, that's the operations folks that'll make that decision, but just in managing expectations for folks, I would think it'd be at least a couple days before we are confident on that. Considering last week when we did the burn operation off the dome here, it was a couple days afterwards before we were able to say confidently that that line was secure.
That took a while, right? And so we also want to break it down about this concept of 14-day assignments. You've been here now, this is day 14, right?
Today is day 14 for me. I came up in 2015 for the fires that were going on. I spent 2 weeks or a full 2 weeks out in Manly Hot Springs on a fire. Really great to work with that community and get to know everybody up there. Came back to Fairbanks, took my 2 days R&R, rest and relaxation, which really is not a whole lot, but slept in a hotel, got some good sleep, and then did another assignment out in Ruby and Galena. So for me, I enjoy coming up here and getting to experience different communities. Alaska way of life is a lot different than the lower 48, and in the Midwest region for the Park Service where I work, you know, it's completely different down there right now. It's hot and humid. Up here, it's hot and dry, which
it's hot.
Normally it's supposed to be cool and dry, but it's
hot.
totally different. So.
We're all dying just like you, and so our 14-day assignment is we wear Nomex and boots all throughout that, and the reason it's at 14 days is to prevent the cumulative fatigue from building up. That's when injuries and accidents happen. That's when folks start misfiring a little bit in their brain. We call them short timers. So when you're in camp and you're on a 14-day, hey, you're looking pretty short there, J. Michael. That's a short timer. That means they only have a little bit of time left before they hit the plane. We have one more short timer right behind the camera. Jacob Wells, come on in here, jump in here. And thanks, Michael.
No worries.
Michael's going to jump. We're like a little three-ring circus here. We want to be as transparent as possible. So again, hit us up with the community meeting questions tonight. Jacob's a short timer, but what's your plan today?
So plan today is to, I guess, get my things packed a little bit, but I'll be at the meeting, definitely to say hello to everybody. I've met a lot of folks here. You know, I love coming to Alaska. It's a great state. Unfortunately, you know, a lot of times the circumstances I come here is to put out fires. I know people are happy to see us here, but they're also happy to see us go, because when we all leave, then that means, you know, fire season is kind of dwindling, or the fire that we're working on is being taken care of. So I just want to give thanks to everybody out in the community, everybody watching on social media, everybody's been following this Shovel Creek fire. I just want to say thanks for your support. Thank you so much. We're here for you guys, to support you guys. We're here to support the communities. We're here to support the firefighters, and just providing this information function. Kale, you do a great job. Like, we learned a lot from Kale and his tactics of reaching as many people as you can. So we use what we call the Flintstones methods, the really simple. We're out there talking to people face to face. You know, we're providing sheets of information. We're standing at these boards, these outposts, and we're trying to provide information that way. But we're also going with the Jetsons, or the more advanced methodology. The high tech, exactly. Like, so reaching as many people as we can through social media avenues. So, you know, we're here to provide information. Like, and I love the campaign of transparency. Something, you know, taken from Kale as well. And so yeah, just want to say thank you all so much. It's my pleasure to be here. I made a lot of new friends, saw a lot of old friends, and yeah. So hopefully this all gets wrapped up soon, and you don't see any more of the green pants and the yellow shirts in your neighborhood. But we're happy to be in your neighborhoods when you guys need help. So thank you so much. And
hey, thank you, man.
Yeah.
And you know, we do call it the Green Pants Nation. They're all slightly different colors these days, and you might even see some beige ones and some different color ones. But the Green Pants Nation appreciates your support. The best way you can help us, as always, is neighbors helping neighbors. Firewise your property, or help another neighbor do it. Help somebody get to town and see some of these videos and learn about fire, see some of the fire behavior and the activity. That's why we're putting it up there for you. Make sure that if they can't get to the community meeting, maybe you help them see the link, because we're going to live stream it, but then we're also going to post the video online. It'll live there, and we want that to be accessible to you. There's a lot of good Q&A going on there. And again, leave us a question that you have for tonight. We're trying to answer them as we go. Here's an example. One of the mushers asked me, will they keep the dozer lines open after the fire's done, so that people can use them for training or for snow machining or whatever? Because in the fuel break, some of the willows and some of the herbaceous fuels have gotten quite high. And so in Alaska, they have different policies in the lower 48. Sometimes they'll be able to keep this open because it's for the benefit of the hunters and trappers and machiners. We'll find out. That's a big mystery, but you can put in your 2 cents tonight. Thanks, Jacob. We also have Eric. They're going to go do some line work, so you might see them in the community. Yellow's